Today, you're going to experience a video composed and edited by my fiance. I'm just here to give you the rundown and let you know it's going to be fantastic. Otherwise, her crashing out over not getting her mic to work is all going to be in vain. Enjoy.
Okay, hi. After literally like 3 days straight of not being able to get my microphones to work at all, I finally have it down. So, yeah. Also, I'm doing this with help. I'm doing this with no script. So, we're just gonna wing it and see how this works because I really don't know what I'm doing. So, anyways, hi, I'm Rose and I like to draw. So I thought, I'd start a YouTube channel because I have a lot of stuff that I am working on just in my head or in secret because I don't really show much on my TikTok or things like that. So I thought it'd be nice to expand forward to other platforms where I can actually document what's going on and just have something to look back on, I guess, but also to map out things and to keep things where I want them in case I need to go back to check things or to go back and check on my lore that I'm making just if I forget anything. So like that being said, what I want to do with this YouTube channel is I want to use it first as my comic center for my comic and put more view on the comic because I'm in the planning stage right now. Well, I'm at the end of the planning stage, I should say, and I'm beginning the writing stage where I am writing out the entirety of the entire series, which is going to take a long time, but I do art alongside of that, but it's taking a long time to do all of that. So what I wanted to do was just have this where I can keep track of me, whatever I say, whatever I do with my comic and my OCs, I can keep track of it and hold myself accountable to it because I've said I'm gonna do it to other people. Also, speaking of OCs, I'm gonna keep this channel number 2 as a hub for my OCs and just talking about my characters, fangirling about my own OCs that I make because nobody else will, type of thing. Because I just really like my OCs and they are so silly and funny and they're also pretty depressing and sad and traumatized. So I just want to share all of my traumatized characters with the world because I love putting my OCs through trauma, as any artist does. Also, for the YouTube channel number 3, I like to do this just as a little rant. Maybe I get on here and make a really quick video about me talking about something, or me ranting, or me saying things about random things that I just want to talk about. Just whatever I feel like I should put out there, I guess, whatever I think should be heard, because I like to talk, and I talk a lot, and I talk all the time, and I feel like I talk too much, so that I have to go talk online. And then fourthly, my channel is going to be maybe reaction videos, taking videos and watching them, reacting to them, kind of old commentary YouTube, things like that, but not with the problematic stuff, just more laughing up silly police body cams or laughing at funny scary videos, something like that. Nothing too out of the ordinary. But in this video, I actually am drawing some of my OCs because that's all I ever do is draw my OCs unless I'm being commissioned. And in this video, these OCs that I'm drawing it goes from the top left is Austin and Jay. Jay's the one sitting down, Austin's the one standing up. And then on the top right is Ace, the one that's super close to the camera. Bottom left is Wes, that's my boyfriend's character. And then bottom right, camera off, is Cody, and they're in a little mercenary group. And you will hear about that because I will touch on it a lot more often because I love them and they're very funny. And so with those OCs, I have over 70, including the ones that my fiance and I work with together, because when I met him about a year and a half ago, he got so obsessed with them and he started making fan characters, and I was like, I really like these, we're gonna make these canon. So we make the story together and we write together and we make OCs together, which I think is really fun. And so you're gonna see a lot of that and a lot of me fangirling over his OCs because he makes some really nice handsome men and some very beautiful pretty ladies, and I really like them a lot. And so you will see a lot of that on this channel, is me just kind of drawing and yapping about whatever I'm drawing, and it typically is not my OC. I'm typically drawing his because I love them so much. But yeah, so speaking of the comic, I also will be streaming on Twitch more often, which I have been streaming on Twitch for a while now, but more often than not, I will be streaming on Twitch to do art streams, to do writing streams, to do things with like involving my comic, talking about my comic, working on my comic live, so people can see behind the scenes a little bit. I've also was thinking about making later on, like way in the future, a Patreon. Or something like that, because I do have a Ko-fi for commissions, but that's about it. I don't have any monthly subscription thing because I don't think I deserve it, to be honest. So yeah, that's definitely something that's a key point of this channel is my OCs and my comic, and then it'll waver between rants and reaction videos whenever I feel like it, because I just really like reacting to things. I like watching things, and I like watching YouTube whenever I draw. So to go from watching YouTube all the time when I'm drawing to streaming all of my art or recording all of my art, so I can't really watch anything while I'm doing that, I'm gonna have to get my fill. I'm gonna have to get my fill in. So you're gonna have to watch me get my fill. But yeah, so those are like the main components or like thoughts of what I want to do with this channel and what I'm thinking about doing in the future. Obviously that could change, things like that, but those are like my little bullet points right now, because I only have 5 bullet points on this paper, and I'm trying to make it work with 20 minutes because my video is 20 minutes long, because I don't know why I took so long to draw these 4 characters, but you know, whatever. But yeah. Another thing I forgot to mention was that I also want to make this a place where I can talk about my world building, not just my OCs, but I have this whole thing where I set up heaven, hell, earth in my writing, and also like aliens, things like that. And I would like to have like a little series where I talk about those things. I break down each division of heaven, and I break down each division of hell, and how everything works between that division. And I have this whole like kind of like an infograph or like a documentary on my own writing, if that makes sense. And it wouldn't be just me being like, hey, this is this and this is that. It'd be more immersive, like it is a real thing, as if it'd be in that world building, because I think it's more interesting when something is laid out in a certain world building rather than just like pointing information at you and like giving it to you like that way. I'd rather give it to someone in a more like narrative or entertaining sense. I guess it also comes in with me writing my own comic. I can write my own script for a fake documentary, I guess. And I can also have that as a thing where it's separate, but it's also kind of canon in some way. I just really like talking about my lore and stuff like that, so it's fun to think of a way to, you know, bring up like the like, how is hell structured, how is heaven and hell like combative, how are they dealing with people that die and come to earth, what is purgatory, how is that related to everything, you know, like which gods are there, which gods aren't, like why is Anubis head of purgatory, why is Lucifer the king of hell, things like that. But yeah, that's like the main components of what I want my channel to be. And I also thought that I didn't have enough time for the video, so I asked people on TikTok and Instagram if they could give me questions or just comments to answer, and I could put them on the video. So we're gonna lightning round this, and we're gonna answer all of these. Okay, so my friend Luna asked, if you could sit down with one of your OCs and ask them a question, who would you pick and what would you ask? I think I'd probably sit down Derek, because Derek is a main character, but also he's one of my favorites, and I'd probably ask him, how does he feel that his wife left him? I'd ask if he feels happy with his afterlife, in all seriousness. Rumi asks, what is your favorite TV show / movie, :3? My favorite movie is definitely American Psycho, but my favorite TV show, I like a lot of TV shows. I like Schitt's Creek, I like Yellow Jackets, I like X-Men 97. I like a lot of TV shows. I can't really pinpoint my favorite one, but for movie, definitely American Psycho is very up there. My friend Shinji asks, what brand is my microwave? I don't even know what my microwave brand is. I'm gonna have to say generic brand. Daisy asks, what is the color green? I think it's either this color or this color. I'm not too sure. Red Larva says, guess what? Chicken butt. No, you got me. You fucking got me. Fruitiger asks, what do you do for background music when it comes up to YouTube videos? If you do use background music, of course. So when I use background music, I had a long time struggle with finding the background music for this video. But I just used video game music. I had to look up what video game music is not copywritten, but I just like using video game music. I think it's like recognizable, but it's still in the background, so it's made to be in the background. Basically, that's why I use it. Hoodie asks, "Are you open to art trades?" Typically I don't really do art trades just because I don't like to hold myself to like this deadline. I get really procrastination-y and I don't like to do the art trades, but I have done art trades in the past and it's really fun. So I'd say yes and no, I guess. Sami asks, what kept you motivated in art during the beginning/study stages? So whenever I was starting off in art, I've been drawing ever since I was a little kid, but especially when I was learning how to draw, learning anatomy, learning all these things, what kept me motivated, weirdly enough, was music videos. I would watch music videos and I would imagine my characters in those music videos, so I'd try to replicate the drawing, like the picture of the music video that I took. I would try to replicate it in a drawing and I would just keep drawing it over and over again until I got it the way I wanted it to be. Also, what kept me motivated was video games. I used to do a lot of video game fan art, like Bendy the Ink Machine, Undertale fan art, and that really kept me like motivated in learning how to get better at art because I wanted to draw those characters better. Richie asks, if you watch anime, what anime/manga has inspired your art the most? I would definitely say I had a huge obsession with JoJo's Bizarre Adventure when I was in like early high school time, and I still really like JoJo's, and that had a very big chokehold on my art style for a while. Also, I really like Castlevania's art style, and I would also say this is a really niche anime, and it's a Gooner anime, but Monster Musume. I was obsessed with the world building of. I love the monster girls in it. So those are the main like top 3 animes I would say /manga. Callum asks, how do you think your OCs would react to each other if you said they were your favorite? Hopefully that makes sense. It does make sense. I know what you're saying. I would say also, side note, I have a character named Callum. Anyways, a lot of my OCs would probably fight to the death. They would get pretty angry pretty quickly because a lot of them are narcissists. So, ArtFart98 says fart. So, yeah. Citrus Upiakyashki said, what would you do if you were suddenly or nearly ran over by a truck goon in the middle of the night while drinking a monster? Girl, I'm gonna be honest, I think I'd just be focusing on not spilling my monster. That shit is liquid gold. I don't want to drop that. Bartolomeo's #1 fan asks, what's your favorite thing to draw? My favorite thing to draw is obviously OCs, but I think out of all my OCs, my favorite thing to draw is the DILFs. That's my favorite thing. And now moving on to Instagram comments. Albatross Barbecue Sauce asks, food that you hate? Also, furry foot commissions when? Food that I hate is definitely onions. I despise onions and hot dogs. I hate hot dogs with a burning passion. Furry foot commissions when? Whenever I get paid to do them. My friend Jackson asks what my favorite song of his is. Definitely it's gotta be Stargazing from the Jackson Clark like Spotify profile. Yeah, Stargazing is my favorite out of the 4 that are produced right now. Vixby Arts asks, how do you go about working on or improving your art? Biggest inspos? So with improving my art, I usually will just wake up one day and I just try to do something better. But for actually improving my art, I will study a lot of just photography and pictures, and I will look at people in real life. I'll stare at people and it's really creepy, but I'll stare at them really hard until I can kind of think about how their shapes and like their facial features and stuff like that, I can figure out the shapes, and so I can try to translate that into art. Also, my best way of improving my art skills is that I just do little doodles in my sketchbook every single day. Not like full pieces, but at least drawing a bit every single day helps me stay in the art like groove. My biggest inspos are definitely the music I listen to, the music videos I watch, and also the comics, the comic books I like to read. I like to read a lot of comic books, and that is a very big inspiration on art style. As for narrative purposes, I take a lot of inspiration from just psychology, and I like to think about how brains work, how things like operate when somebody has a certain disorder, things like that. Just little things that interest me. Also, mythologies, Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, all those things, biblical mythology. Those all also are interesting to me, so I like to incorporate them with my writing because I like the narratives that they entail, so I put my own little twist on it, if that makes sense. But yeah, those are just the questions that I was asked. I wasn't asked an awful lot because, you know, I'm not like crazy popular or anything like that, but it was still fun enough to like have people actually ask me questions. I was actually really surprised that people actually did leave comments on videos besides just my friends. But yeah, that is basically it for the questions portion. It went by a lot faster than I thought. I thought it was gonna be way slower. So, but yeah, that pretty much sums up the video. I think next time I'll have a lot more to say and a lot more things to talk about and less filler, because I will have an actual video planned out, and I'm definitely going to be doing a script next time, I think. Because this like little, I literally have like 6 bullet points and that's it. So definitely next time I will be writing a script, or at least a loose, more in-depth but looser script, just something that I can actually read and know what I'm doing. But yeah, and for the next videos, I definitely want to do the world building first, because I feel that I need to introduce the world building before I introduce characters, because if I just like randomly pull up this character that has bird wings, you're gonna be like, what? Why is there bird wings? You know what I mean? So I like to introduce the world building first of the 3 tiers of like heaven, hell, earth, and purgatory in between, all those things like that. But have that come in first as like either like a little series or like a little mini series, just to get introduced into the writing, and kind of have it as just like a little, I'm gonna make this channel like a little synopsis of my writing, I think, and just have a whole collaboration. I don't know, I'm just spewing out buzzwords, but you know what I mean. And so I'm going to be doing that. And I'm also going to be working on streaming on Twitch more often, where I can make videos out of that, more VODs, things like that. And definitely, I really would like to have input. So if you have any ideas, any questions, anything at all, questions, ideas, what you like, what you don't like, please let me know in the comments. I love hearing people's input, and I really like listening to people talk about like what they think about what I'm doing, because that way I can cater what I'm doing more towards an audience. I've never done this before, so I'd like to have some input, like outsider input, you know what I mean? But yeah, definitely expect to see me a lot more often, because I'm here to stay. I'm not going to be doing this stupid like what I used to do, where I'd post one video and then leave for like 6 months and then post another video. If you were subscribed to me a long time ago, you'd probably remember that, because I posted like 2 videos in 1 year and that was it. And it was really stupid. And like I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. But I never did. This time I'm actually going to be like locking in and doing stuff. So expect to see me a lot more often, also because my schedule is a lot better now. But just expect to see some things happen more often and get into a rhythm, not just YouTube shorts, and just like getting more into what I want to do. And yeah, I mean, that's about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna put the finished product up on the screen once I'm done with my speed paint. And so it'll be there, and then the outro will play. I'm trying to kind of stall for time, because I have to wait for like 20 more seconds before the time is done. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, do all the comment thing, do all the things that YouTube tells you have to do if you like a video. Turn on the notification bell. Ring that bell, guys. Ring it loud and proud. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Expect to see me more often, and see ya. Bye.